Good morning, virtual villagers, and welcome to my little studio today. I'm Kate from What Kate Made, and today we're going to be starting with Christmas decorations. It is now November, and bonfire night's out the way, so officially it's Christmas now in our house. So what we're going to be making over the next two sessions, that's today and the 20th, which is our next one. I'm going to be making a star-shaped wreath. Now, it's going to be made exclusively with, well, almost exclusively, from my point of view, with recycled and reused items. It's not everybody will have what I've got because I collect and save everything. So, but you can buy certain things, but the basis of this is that we want to reuse things that might go to landfill. And the main thing that we're concentrating on reusing with this is Christmas trees and Christmas tree decorations. So with that in mind, I will show you my sample. Just bear with me. So this is my sample. Now, this is a very large one. The one we're going to make won't be as big. The reason I've made this one, can you see it okay, is I'm part of our village hall committee here, and we are using the reuse, recycle, reduce theme for all of our Christmas decorations this year. So that one is going to go in the village hall. So that's why it is that size. Now the one I'm going to make with you today will be about 18 inches, so it'll be quite a bit smaller. So I'm going to show you what we're going to be using today. So you're going to need 5 or 6 garden canes. These are about 2 feet long each. Some are longer than others. I've rescued them out the shed. You can also use, if you're out walking in the woods, you can use long straight branches as well. Not very thick, so that's about the ideal thickness. These are going to form the star shape. We're also going to use, for our greenery, now this is top half of an artificial Christmas tree. This one was my son's. I've also had a couple donated for the village hall, for our village hall, our real village hall as well. So this is what I'm going to use for my fake greenery rather than buying new. So that saves this, which is all plastic and wire going into landfill. So that's a good thing. Now, today, the only sort of physical materials we're going to use are the canes and the greenery, because we're going to make the star-shaped base and cover it in greenery. If I just pick mine up again, what I've also got on here are various different recycled Christmas tree decorations. Now, I've had donations in the village from various. Doesn't show up very well against my green jumper. I've just realised maybe I should put it that way. Can you see that? So all of these things on here were part of a big bundle that somebody gave me. So I've just used white and silver on this one. Some of the other ones were blue. I've got some red and gold as well. So I'm going to vary. I'm going to make four this size for our village hall and vary the decorations that go on them. Okay, so as regards tools and other equipment, I have these tin snips. These are a pair of sort of more heavy duty wire cutters are the best thing because the branches are quite thick. I'll show you what I mean. All the branches are wired, so these aren't the ideal thing. Wire cutters would be better, but I don't have any wire cutters. This is all I've got. I might nip out and buy a pair this afternoon because I have 3 trees to take apart. Now, these are you have to hold them in a certain way and get the branch in a certain place for them to cut. So there, cut the branch off. So we'll use that in our on our wreath, but in true Blue Peter fashion. Here's some I made earlier. So, okay. Right, what else have I got here? I've got glue and glue sticks. You know, my trusty glue gun. I've got Florist wire. Now this is on a reel. I don't know whether you can see that. I've got the camera in a different position because you're going to need to see all my table once I get started. It's a brown Florist wire. That's on a roll. I just find it's easier on a roll. You can also get it in pre-cut lengths. That might even have the gauge on it. No, it doesn't. But that's green, that one. So depending on how long a length you need, these are quite handy for just things like wiring up individual branches. But when you come to want to attach your wreath together, this is probably a bit better because you can get longer lengths. So we're ready to get started. So I'm just going to reposition the camera a little bit. I've got your comments up, so please say hello. We've already got Josephine, Susan, and Bonbons Babe. What a lovely name. Welcome all. Now just let me reposition the camera and we'll get started. Now you can see my desk now, so I'll just tighten that so it doesn't go whizzing off again. Right. We are a bit of an odd angle, but it's the best I can do today. Hello, Malcolm and Liz. Oh, we've got quite a few watching today. So, with your canes, the length of your canes, the principle is you make it as long as you want your star to be wide. Now, I'm going to work on 18 inches today, and luckily for me, my cutting mat is 18 inches. So basically, I'm going to cut my canes to 18 inches. Now, cutting them, again, I'm going to try the snaps. I mean, they will break, but what we're trying to not do is get too jagged an end, because you don't want splinters everywhere. I have had in the past. You might be better with a hacksaw. There we go. It's a little rough, but we're not going to worry about that. So we want 5 lengths like that from our canes. So I'm going to just cut them. Some will be easier than others because all canes seem to be different. Some of them are probably ancient. They tend to get reused time and time again in the greenhouse. Now the little bits, we could maybe find a use for them, so I'm not going to throw them away. I never throw anything away in my house. We can't get in it really. I dread ever having to move to a smaller property. Yeah, don't do that too much. So they are slightly varying because I'm not really concentrating hard enough. So, but it doesn't really matter because it's a rustic wreath, so we're allowed a little bit of latitude. This one's a tough one. I might put that to one side and try one of the others. The older ones, because they're a little bit more used, it's slightly easier to cut sometimes. Ow! Yeah, don't do that. I should really have brought up my hacksaw. With the Christmas trees, we did have to hacksaw some of it. I'm not doing very well, am I? But I wanted to show you how easy it is to cut them, and of course they're not cooperating. Let me try my pliers. They might not be. Made a bit more of a dent in it. There we go. I could make mini stars with the canes that are left over. There is still a little bit of dirt on some of them, so I'll have to hoover this afternoon. No, what did we want that to be? I'm trying to not use the dirty ends of the canes. Right. I will just trim that end off if I can. Right. So they're all roughly, one of them's a tiny bit longer than the others, but they're all roughly the same. I might just trim the end of that one because that's a little bit rough as well. Okay, so those are our canes. Now we're gonna I might just try and turn the camera a little bit more so you can see a little bit more of my workspace. because I'm going to, which way am I going? Bear with me a sec. I think that's as good as it's going to get. You can see. Okay, we're going to lay them out in the star shape now, and it's what you want them to do is to go under and over, and you want the ends to meet rather than crossing over. So if I can remember how I did this, I think that goes like that. They actually go in like a V shape. They do roll about a little bit. That's it. And then the last one goes there. Now you want to maneuver them so that they do look like a star without them rolling about. Any minute now we're going to wire. We're going to do some wiring. Why doesn't that work? That's it. It's more or less right like that. We are going to have some crossover, but it's not going to. We're not going to worry too much about it because I'm just going to. This is what you will have to do. You do have to do a bit of twiddling about to make that one slightly longer. So to make a star shape, and then that one goes. That's it. I knew I'd get there in the end. So that's our star shape. So once we've got that laid out, what we're going to do is we're going to wire it, because once it's wired, we can still adjust it. Whereas once we've glued it, that's it. Yeah. So I'm taking off some lengths of wire, about 18 inches. Just cutting them with the pliers. And I'm going to start wiring the joints up. So I'm going to cross them over slightly at the end, and then it may help to take them apart. I don't want everything going on the floor. So I'm winding around the two, and then what I want to do is go between. So you're forming like a cross shape with your wire. Don't know whether you can see that or not. I'll show you it a bit better in a minute when I've got it on. So you've got like your wires going in like a cross, because then you can still adjust the shape. Tie two pieces together to start you off. That's a very good idea, Tricia, because I've done this a couple of times now, and every single time, I can't remember how to do it. It's one of those things, I think, that once you've done it 6 times, it sticks in your head forever. So that's my first. So I'll wire the other V. By the time I've decorated our village hall, I stress I'm not doing it all on my own. But by the time I've done it, I'll be able to do these in my sleep probably. So I'm just doing again a V shape around, cross shape around the end of my V. Doesn't have to be ultra tight, because yeah, because I am going to glue them again, but I just want to get the arrangement right. That's it, isn't it? So now I'm going to wire these two ends together. Again, I'm going to cross them over just at the very end. Wire that round that way and then round that way. Says she. I need an extra pair of hands. You know, if I had another pair of hands, or at least one more hand, this would be so much easier. Got quite a few people watching today. Irene's watching. Irene's a regular. So you can see with the wire, I can still adjust this to get the right shape. So the last piece is going across there. So I'll need to wire that at both ends. It's a rustic wreath. It doesn't matter if you end up with it slightly wonky, because it's meant to be, particularly if you're using branches rather than canes, because branches won't be quite as uniform as the canes. I'll tell you something as well, this time of year, because I do a lot of wiring, my fingers get really sore, so I'm going to twiddle with it a little bit. I think that cane is slightly longer. We can hide the long end with our greenery, but that, I think, is the best I'm going to do. Ideally, I should have woven them under and over to give it a little bit more stability, but considering how hard it's been to just get them in the shape in the first place, I'm not going to worry too much about that. I hope you can all hear me okay, because with this new setup with my tripod, I'm a little bit further away from the camera, so I was a little bit worried you might not be able to hear me. Oh, one of my other wires has come undone. This is why we glue them as well, because we're moving the wire all the time. It does tend to come undone. So, which reminds me, put the glue gun on. That'll take a little time to warm up. If you've watched me before, you'll know how much in love I am with my cordless glue gun. It's very sad, but crafters love the tools. Now everything's coming apart. Just bear with me. I will have to get it glued quite quickly. Right. So I am not going to fiddle too much again with that, because as I say, I will glue it. Seems like every time I tighten one, another one comes loose. Right, there, a star shape. I think that will do us, won't it? It's near enough a star. Right, my glue gun's come up now, so it's actually a bit of what's in the bottom of this is probably still glittery. I was using glitter glue yesterday, so I'm going to put a generous splodge of glue each side of the joints, as close as I can to the inside. Just let me get that new stick in. There we go. So that it will seal up and stiffen our wired joints, and then I'm going to do the joints in between as well. I mean, your glue gun will, if you put lots and lots of glue, it'll get into the crevices and it will hold it. I'll show you what I mean. Can you see how it's gone right in between there and there? So that will hold it quite solid. It's all glittery. What was left of the glitter stick I had in it last night. Good tip, that is glitter glue sticks. After covering the whole room in glitter, because I dropped a tube of glitter one time, I've never used it again. And it is so hard to clean up glitter. Okay. So that's all our 5 points. So I'm now going to glue at the joints as well. So I'm going to squeeze it underneath and press it down. Some of the joints won't meet because of the way they overlap, but as many of them as I can. Don't worry about extra strings of glue. because they will just come off. It does seem very wasteful of glue, but it'll be worth it. I'm not going to force anymore. I mean, I have got a slight gap there, but I'm not going to force it because the whole thing will come apart again. Right, I'm going to pop the glue to one side. We probably won't need the glue anymore. So I'm going to just leave that to one side to just let it go hard. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do with the green bits. So these are all the top bits of the Christmas tree. So they're quite short, which is fine because we can, some are longer than others. What we're going to do is wire them into little bundles. So this is where the short lengths of wire come in handy, because it's less fiddling, less cutting. So you take your length of wire, this is green Florist wire, and get to, what I'm doing at the moment is I'm just wiring them. So you just get your wire and you wire the ends together, but leave half your wire. You can see, leave half the wire, so you've got some to then wire it around your canes. And I'm just going to do them in pairs. I'm roughly looking for pairs that are the same length, because these, I'm going to do 5 of these for the points of the star, just to make them nice and prominent. It's 1, 2, 3. As you get nearer the top of the tree, the bits get a lot shorter. So they'll, but that's good for filling in the gaps. What we're aiming to do by the end of today is have a green star, and then in our next session on the 20th of November we will decorate it, and I'll show you how to wire other bits together to make your little sort of ready-made pieces that you can just slot in. So things with berries, and I'm trying to find 2 pieces the same. I have some old wreaths that I'm taking apart that have holly leaves and flowers and berries and things on. Now I'll leave those, I think, because I think I've got 5 of these. 1, 2, 3, yeah, right, even have 6. Now again, we're going to wire them on, and then we're going to go back with the glue once we've got them in the position we want them in. So as I said, this one is a little bit longer than the others. I might just try and nip that off, but I don't really want to. I won't have to do it very carefully, because I don't, as I say, I don't want to get a structure. There, that's a bit better. So these are our little wires. They're V-shaped now, and what we're going to do is just pop them on the end of the point of the star like that, and just wrap the wire around just to hold it secure. As I say, by the end of doing this, your fingers are quite sore with manipulating wire. So you can see that it's wanting to move now. We've got our wire round and roughly our V shape in place, covering our V shape. So we're going to do that on every end. You want it to be slightly proud of the point, so that the canes don't show. And just wrap it around the point of the canes in similar fashion to when we wired up the canes themselves. So I'm going to go round and around there. I'm not worrying too much about it being too secure. That one's a bit wobbly, because I am going to go back and glue it. I didn't glue mine, but I used a lot more wire I'm thinking on probably the glue's more secure. But until you've got it done and you know what you want to do, it's a good idea to not glue it till you're absolutely certain that's where you want things to be. And they will move a little bit, but for now. Right, so we can go in again with our wire and just secure it a bit further down as well. Although I think I might go back to the reel because I want a shorter piece for this, so, and it's less wasteful to use a shorter piece because it's just holding it in place. So carry on working our way around. There will be a lot of just watching me in this session, I'm afraid. I'm just going to secure that with a bit of wire. The bigger one obviously took a lot more greenery. I was at it, felt like ages. Just trying to fill gaps in as well because it's a much bigger wreath, that one. But this one I will probably send to my sister-in-law. She usually is the recipient of all my wreaths because I usually end up making like two, one for a demo and one as a here's one I made earlier. And she doesn't watch me on Facebook. She's not a Facebook user, so she doesn't know what she's getting, which is quite nice. She just gets a nice surprise. So as you can see, it's starting to take shape. Sandy said she can't wait to have a go. Please do have a go. I am a bit, as a crafter, I do tend to, we do buy a lot of things and you can't help it. It's just part of a crafter's DNA. Is, ooh, that looks nice, I might buy that. But the other half of being a crafter is looking at something and going, ooh, I could make that myself. So, you know, we do, and I tend to, because I live in a small village and I do a lot of crafting workshops and things around the village. People say to me, I've got this, can you use it? And I always say yes, never say no, and always have a house full of, well, my husband says a house full of rubbish, but you know, it's not rubbish, is it, if you can make something out of it eventually. So we are getting there with our wreath. There's not much more to do on it now. I'm trying to keep an eye on the time as well. This is why it's in two parts, this wreath, because it does take a little while. So if you make this half and then you've got it ready for joining us for the next one, that will be good. Right, so now I'm going to do exactly the same with these little single bits, but I'm just going to put wire them just singly. So I'm going halfway along with my wire and just twisting it around the stem. I'm back to the green wires again now, and I'm going to fill in the gaps. So I'm going to go along the cross pieces now with my wire and make sure it covers the stem that I've end of my green. I'm trying to use the longer bits. I've used quite a lot of the longer bits on my other wreath, so I am stuck a bit with shorter bits. So again, I'm going to just twist that. It's very easy to wire things. You just twist it tightly around and then go around again when you get it on the cane. So I'm just tucking that under and round so it holds it to the cane. And you can see it's very quickly filling in. It's up to you how much green, whether you leave a gap. On the one I showed you earlier, because it was bigger, I had a gap in the middle and I hung a little wooden decoration from it. It's a little angel. So it's entirely up to you how full you make it. You might want your star shape, you know, to follow the sticks just as they are, but I'm going to try and fill in the points of my star as well. Now, this might have seemed a bit of a boring session, not hugely exciting. However, preparation, preparation, preparation. If you get this bit right, your finished wreath's going to look just that much better. Now, I've just got a few little gaps still. I'm going to need to go under there, I think, with this one. I'm going to actually wire this one in the middle because it's going underneath. It'll be easier to fasten it with the wire going both ways. Now, if you do have a go and you finish it, let me see it. I love seeing what you make. You can always post it in the comments, or you can send it to me via WhatsApp. If you look me up, I'm under What Kate Made. That's the name of my business. So I'm on WhatsApp. Messenger, you can send them to Messenger as well, but they are quite difficult to download from Messenger when you've got a business page. For some reason, don't ask me why. Facebook is just, has its little quirks. Okay. So we've got the basic star shape. Now, as I say, you could leave it like that, but I'm going to fill in just in the points. I'm going to leave the gap in the centre, I think. Now, this is one of the double ones I made earlier, and that will tuck in there, and that will help emphasise the point. And I'm just going to wire it round the one I'd already put in. So that's filled in the point a little bit. Just got some more of this, and wire two more together. This helps if you can get them the same length. So that's gonna go. I'm gonna move it round as I go, and then I know I'm filling the points in. Now I'm just going to reheat my glue, because I will be going over it and gluing some bits now. Use quite a lot of wire. It is cheaper to buy on the roll, so it may be, if you buy a roll, it may be better value for you. If you will use the rest of the roll, I use quite a lot of it for all sorts of projects. So the last one, point filling. You can see it is sticking up a little bit, but I'm going to, as I say, I'm going to go around it with the glue now, and that should help. Right, that's because it's a smaller one. The gap in the middle has disappeared a little, and some of the pieces I've wired on have moved a little bit and exposed canes. Right, it's nearly ready. There it is. Green light, go. So what I'm going to just do is go underneath the ones I've just put on the top, and just get them to stick down a little bit by gluing underneath them. Just be careful of your fingers. So anything that's really sticking up, I'm going to glue down. You have to hold it down while it sticks, while the glue sets, and that's when you might just burn your fingers. So be careful. Just going to glue that on there because it's moved a little bit from the wire. I might just put a little bit under there to hold it. Just be careful you don't glue it to the table. That would be a disaster. Okay, I might need to fill that little gap in there. Just the sun's out here. We haven't really, because I'm up in the northwest near Blackpool, and we haven't really suffered with the two storms that have just whizzed past us. Saying that, I probably will now. Just again, filling in a few gaps. I think that's it. That's my star. A little bit of an odd shape, as I say. You can move it around to find the nicest angle and then decide how you're going to hang it. But once you get your baubles and your ribbons and your berries and all your other bits on it, it's going to look much better. I haven't ended up with much of a gap in the middle. I haven't really got enough space there to pop a dangling one in, but I think that's quite good, don't you? I'm quite pleased with that. Now let me just bring out again the one I made earlier, the big one, to show you what sort of things you're going to need for the second part. So these are just baubles. This was like a garland, you know, the sort of garlands you get to put around your tree, and it was star shapes. I thought that's really nice. The little ribbons, it's just some silver Christmas ribbon that I've wired into bows. I'll show you how to do that next week. These are just tree decorations as well, and the bells were a nice touch. They don't ring, but I've put them on there. So have a think now that you've got your base about how you want to decorate it. Have a shuffle through your Christmas tree decorations. Everybody has one where the plastic end's fallen off, or I'm just going to tip you up a little bit so you can actually see me. Just bear with me. I don't use this big tripod very often, but you do get a better view of all the work surface. So as I was saying, have a look through your baubles. I'm about to get mine out of the loft. My husband's about to get them out of the loft very shortly. I know from last year that I had a whole box that I didn't even use last year, so because I make a few new ones every year. So the sort of ordinary baubles, they're like ordinary, just shiny baubles, are getting unused now. So, well, thank you for joining me once again. Our lovely star, ready to be decorated. 20th of November is my next session. Monday again at 11 o'clock. So join me then. It's been lovely. Please leave a comment if you're watching on catch up as well. I always like to read your comments, and I will try and watch back through and say hi to everybody while I sit and have my lunch, because it's just about lunchtime. Right, so that's me saying goodbye. Join me again for our next session on the 20th of November, and thank you for watching. Bye. It doesn't want to go.